Hi everyone, it's me, Krylios, Team Rayceen Productions co-host and moderator. And joining me today is the goddess of DC, Rayceen Pendarvis.
Greetings and salutations, all.
Joining us is the new Executive Director of SMYAL, Erin Whelen. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's lovely to be here.
It is such a pleasure to have you here with us today. And we want to kick this off with just having you introduce yourself to our audience and let them know a little bit about your background and experience.
Awesome. My name is Erin. I use she, her pronouns. I am a queer woman from Austin. I don't claim the state of Texas, so I just say Austin. I'm a mom of two. I'm a therapist by training. I've been really doing work around youth and young adults, supporting them and pursuing a life that they love and deserve for about 20 years. For the last 15 years or so, I've been focused around housing and housing justice and the inequities and disproportionality of youth who are exiting systems such as the justice system, the foster care system, into homelessness, and the disproportionality of queer and trans youth and youth of color within those systems. As I said, I'm a therapist.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that introduction. Now, of course, we're going to be talking about SMYAL today. So for anyone who is not aware or up to date about what SMYAL is, please give us a brief overview.
Absolutely. So SMYAL is an organization, community organization that has almost been in existence in the district for about 40 years. Next year, we'll celebrate our 40th anniversary. And we really focus around supporting queer and trans youth in whatever way they need us to, specifically around advocacy, leadership opportunities, housing, most recently clinical services, and our street outreach program.
Awesome.
Great.
Awesome.
Sounds amazing. So what makes SMYAL uniquely positioned to create new programs or shifting programmings to fill the gaps in the service of LGBTQI youth?
Well, as I mentioned, we've been around for 40 years, and one thing, almost 40 years, I won't round up. So one of the things that I do love about SMYAL and that drew me to SMYAL is we don't always do what we've always done because we've done it. We really think about what we need to be doing to serve the community today. And so that's about evolving and growing and iterating based on who our queer and trans youth are today. You know, and I'm 44, and when I was 20, that was a very different time than what youth are experiencing now. And so one thing that I think we're well positioned to do is that understand what our community needs and to pivot and iterate quickly and effectively around that. One of the things that I think we are, fiercely committed to is providing accessible services, affirming services, free services for those individuals that might not be able to access specifically mental health. As we know, through the pandemic, the need for mental health services is astronomically increased. That has always been a need for our LGBTQ plus community. And so wanting to make sure that we can meet that need as well.
That is so important. That is so important that we're able to do that. Now, what programs or services excite you about SMYAL?
Well, one of the things that I think is really unique about SMYAL is we serve a broad range of ages. So we're one of the few organizations across the country that serve queer and trans youth as young as 6 years of age, which is our Little SMYALs program. And so what that does is and allow a youth at any age as young as 6 to be seen, heard, understood, be around folks that see and hear them, identify with them, and can share community with. And through the pandemic have really realized, as well as just the nature of where we are in our world and continue to be nationally, where folks need to feel connected. And so have kind of in a grassroots way expanded that on a more national level to other LGBTQ plus centers across the country that might not be able to serve as young as 6 so that we can connect with them virtually through our groups that we hold each week. And then we also do some in-person work here at our location in the district. The other thing that I really think is pretty powerful, as I mentioned, is just the incredible need for safe and affirming mental health services. Mm-hmm. So not only accessible, but safe and affirming, which is fewer and farther between. And so just last year, we launched our clinical services program, which is completely free of charge to any queer or trans youth that walks through our door. We have just under a year served over 60 young people with those services. And then in addition to that, I'm new to the district area, but one thing, as services have ended, unfortunately, in other parts of the community, we really tried to step in to make sure that the youth and young adults aren't experiencing that gap. And so launched really a pilot in our street outreach program towards the end of last year, just several months ago, really trying to meet the needs of youth who are in their native language. So bilingual individuals, Spanish-speaking individuals, to make sure they're connected to resources. We are going to them, not expecting them to kind of figure out what door to enter to find what services they need, get connected to identify IDs and tax ID and things like that.
Mm. That's amazing. Outside of the SMYAL in-house programming, what kind of work are you doing in the community?
Well, one thing that I feel really passionate about is the work of the LGBTQ plus Budget Coalition. And it's a coalition that was developed in 2019 out of a need to align the community around services and making sure that there was specific money allocated towards our community when we think about social services. And so some of that work that we're really focusing on is safe and affordable housing, vouchers being distributed to the queer community, senior living, as well as in safe parts of the district as well. In addition to that, destigmatizing drug use among the community and making sure that they have safe and accessible ways to use if that is something that they choose to do. And, I think also just the regular way in which what I love about our community is how we collaborate and work together, and we try to remove silos so that we can effectively meet the needs of our queer and trans youth and make sure that they have the services they need to live the best life that they want to live and deserve to live.
That is so important. That is so important. And I want to ask you, how have you been enjoying this position since being the new executive director?
Well, I am a new executive director, and I couldn't be more proud. SMYAL has an incredible reputation among the community, as well as growing nationally in terms of the work that we do. I think one of my goals is to continue to make sure we're as accessible with the growing and changing population in the community, and that we are serving, LGBTQ plus youth in the best way possible.
Awesome. And what do you see as SMYAL's next steps and priorities as you advance your work supporting LGBTQ plus youth?
Well, one of the things, I'm clearly a white cis woman. I want to make sure that the work that we are doing is reflecting the community we're serving. And so one of the things is diversifying our board, making sure our board is reflective of the community we're serving. And as I mentioned earlier on, the disproportionality of youth experiencing homelessness in our community of queer and trans youth and youth of color. And so one of the things, in addition to diversifying our board, really look at and utilize racial equity and justice principles within the organization, naming white supremacy, calling that out, creating a culture of community where we can recognize and identify privilege in the work that we do, and making sure that the work that we do is reflective of who we're serving. I also think accessibility of services, which is something I meant. And so I think, 20, 30 years ago, we were a drop-in center where folks came to see us. And I think our world is changing, and we need to go out into the community more and make sure that we're bringing services to folks. And so that's another thing around accessibility, not only in language, but physicality of our services.
Certainly. Now, Rayceen, you have worked with and interacted with and collaborated with almost every single LGBTQ plus organization in DC and all over, all over. So tell me the importance of having, the importance you've seen of having such an amazing organization like SMYAL for LGBTQ youth here in the district and its environs.
It's so important on so many levels. Young people especially need to feel as if they're being seen, heard, and valued. And sometimes as elders, sometimes we forget what it is like to be young, what it's like to be a part of that generation that must understand the importance of not being talked to, but being listened to. And sometimes so many agencies forget. And sometimes we forget the needs, that there are special needs that address those who are very young, and meaning those under 25. That sometimes we forget what it is like to be young. Sometimes we forget that sometimes because of the age difference, times have changed. I can view something now and I can look at it one way. I can look at the glass half full, someone can look at it half empty. So it's important that we speak to those needs of those who see something in a way that I might not see it. So I think it's so important that SMYAL specializes in our young LGBT plus community and address the needs that they need to hear, see, and feel. So that's why I think it's so important on so many levels.
Awesome, awesome. And of course, we want to make sure that all our youth, all our community advocates, anybody who is, you know, feeling riled up to do something and to become a part of something, to be, you know, a part of SMYAL and lend their hand in any way. So how can people get more involved and be a part of this community and learn more about SMYAL?
Absolutely. The most basic, easy way is our social. So connect with us via Instagram, Facebook, also our website, smyal.org. If you're interested in investing more in our queer and trans youth in the district, I would encourage you to sign up for volunteer activities. We have an email listserv you can sign up on our website for. Those go out on a monthly basis. Lots of opportunities to connect not only with other like-minded folks who believe that queer and trans youth deserve the opportunity to feel seen, heard, and understood, but also at times with our youth. You can also bring SMYAL into your workplace or into your school setting or into whatever community setting you're in for training opportunities and growing our knowledge and understanding, as Rayceen said, around our under 25 youth. And then, you know, I believe, and hopefully everyone watching is just actively advocating for queer and trans youth in our community. As we know, queer and trans people in general have been under attack across our country. And specifically, it's such an important time in a young person's life where they're still evolving and growing and understanding who they are. It's important that we're advocating and fiercely listening and advocating for who they are and who they want to be.
Certainly, certainly. And to our viewers, the links to the social media and all of that will be in the description below. So go ahead and check that out. Erin, thank you so much for joining us today. It has been such a pleasure. Thank you. And viewers, please follow Team Rayceen Productions on social media and click around our YouTube channel. Check out our other interviews, vlogs, forums, and more. And while you're at it, make sure you subscribe, like, and share. And Rayceen, what would you like to share with our viewers?
Thank you for watching.